decided we needed to have another Star Wars episode.
Indeed. You can't ever have too much Star Wars in your life.
And it's been too long.
It's been a while.
It's been
It's been
a while. It's been so long. And the tea that we're having today is another tea from the Good Store. It's by Keats Co, and it's their Evensong Chai. Yes. It's really good.
The name of a romance novel.
I know, right? it sounds a bit like a romance novel. They theme all of their teas and their drinks off of like Keats poetry.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah,
so
that makes sense.
They give like suggestions of like drink this tea paired with this poem.
Oh,
Isn't
okay.
that
I love
cool?
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
No,
That's awesome.
It's great. I love their store. Highly recommend them. Highly recommend their teas. 100% of their profit goes towards ending maternal and infant mortality and helping fight tuberculosis in Sierra Leone.
I love that.
Yeah, so
that's amazing.
I absolutely love the Good Store. Check them out. They have delicious tea and socks and soap and a whole bunch of other really cool stuff. And their tea's delicious.
Yeah.
So I've been really excited to have them on the podcast. But yeah, Evensong Chai is really good. It's piping hot right now.
Yeah, I'm waiting for it to cool down a little bit before.
We're gonna let it cool down a little bit. They're not a sponsor. We're just a fan. And we're gonna be enjoying them while we talk about Star Wars. It's been a hot second. We had a May the 4th, like, almost 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've been hankering to talk about Star Wars.
And I'm always down to talk about Star
Yeah.
Wars. I mean, you know me, there's been new developments and stuff since we last.
Well, and we've had some adventures with Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
We've gone to some cons.
We have.
We've met some cool people.
We did. It was awesome.
It's been really good. So
awesome.
We've needed to have an episode so we could talk about some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
Yeah. Would you like to roll a dice?
I would love to, because I love rolling dice so much.
I do. Sometimes they're nice to you, sometimes they're not.
You know, yeah, this one would not be a good roll, 7. But
7?
Doesn't matter for this.
It might be a good roll. This is a great starting question.
Okay, I'm ready.
Don't burn your tongue.
I'm not. I was just cooling it. I was
Okay,
blowing on it. I was
okay.
blowing on it. I really want to try it, but
I know it smells really good. Just give it a second.
Yeah.
So question number 7: why do we like the Star Wars films and TV shows so much? What is it about them that has so captivated you?
Oh man.
I know.
Well, I mean, you can go back and talk about, because when Star Wars originally came out in the 70s, that was the big thing.
Oh, it
it pioneered
everything.
And it pioneered filmmaking.
Yeah. There was nothing else like it at the time, both in story, right?
Mm-hmm.
In film, and nobody had ever seen anything like this before. Right? As far as science fiction goes, right? Nobody had attempted anything at that scale like that before. And filmmaking, right? We could spend the whole podcast. There's entire podcasts dedicated to how they pioneered filmmaking and changed the whole game with what they did for special effects.
Absolutely.
How they accomplished their costuming, the sound, the music, everything.
Mm-hmm.
They had to rethink how to go about creating this other universe that was taking place in space on other planets, but not on other planets,
right.
With ships and explosions and battles, with lightsabers, with all these things and blaster guns. Like, there wasn't the technology to do that, right?
Not at all.
They did it with models and paint and puppets.
Yep.
Like, amazing. Absolutely amazing work. We could spend the whole podcast talking about it.
Right.
I would love to spend the whole podcast talking
so
about it.
you I mean, in the sense that what got people excited back then was all of that, but then I mean, I grew up watching Star Wars, and like just as a little kid, like just being captivated by the story and by just the fact that like fantasy, like how cool would it be, like, to imagine yourself in a world like that, where there were lightsabers and you could use this mythical force and you could be a Jedi or you could be a bounty hunter, you could be, you know, and just like growing up and having that imagination. And then like as you get older and like the new films have come out and everything, like they still captivate me because it still is fun to imagine yourself in that time in that universe. Yeah. Yeah. And, like, they've done such a good job with the animated series, with the Clone Wars, and, like, newer shows that have come out. They just create such a good storyline, and the lore just builds upon itself. And so if you're already a fan of, like, the old Star Wars lore, it just builds upon itself, and you're able to, like, reference this to that, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've seen this in this movie. And it's so fun. And when you're a geek and you're a nerd like me, when stuff comes out, and you just can't help but fangirl over it. It's so great. It's so good. Like, Star Wars is, like, amazing.
I think what I like about it so much is the scope, right? The scope of what has been constructed. Right. It truly is, like, a universe that lives and breathes, right? We're not just following a couple characters anymore. Right. It started out with like 3 films where we were following a handful of characters and a handful of bad guys in a handful of encounters and battles, and that was kind of it, right? But then it became this whole universe of its own with this deep lore and stories and many people and many stories and whole planets and whole cultures. And so I feel like it has this ability to relate to people and draw people in where you can see yourself in there. And I think that's why so many people can resonate with it, right? Because maybe you don't connect with Luke, but you can connect with, like, for you, like Ahsoka, right? You can resonate with, like, her story, right? Where somebody else really likes Ben Kenobi, right? Or, like, my brother loves Anakin and his arc, right? And there's so many characters, right? You've got the whole, like, bounty hunter and Boba Fett and his arc, right? You have the Mandalorians now and all of their lore and all of their stories that we have now. And there's so many little tidbits and things that we get along the way. Right. And these stories of these people that we can gather and appreciate and relate to. And that's what makes stories powerful, is being able to relate to them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, like, that's what, for anything, that's what is going to draw somebody in, is being able to relate to it and connect to it. And Star Wars is unique because it's so broad. Right. Like, it's constantly growing and it's so broad in its scope of how much lore and growth there is there. So, like, maybe you're not a huge fan of, like, the Jedi and the Sith, but you really, really vibe with the bounty hunters. So, like, you're all about that gangsta life. Yeah. But it's very cool. It's very cool in how it can just captivate people.
It captivates me every time I watch it. Like,
it's great.
It's just like, I'm all in. When I start watching a movie, I'm all in.
Yeah, full committed.
Oh man, every tea you have on the show is so good. Like, I don't even know why I'm, like, skeptical every time. I'm like, is it gonna be good? It's always good. It's always good.
I mean, this one doesn't have to be your favorite, but I do particularly.
They're
like
all really good, though.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
You've got me into tea, Katie. I drink tea now because of you.
Good. That is the goal. That is kind of why I started this podcast. It's great. Well, I'm going to roll the dice. Yeah. 17. See, like, it's like, my dice like me. Like, what can I say?
Yeah, they liked you at your last session, too.
They sure did. Ooh. Tell me about the coolest Star Wars merch that I own, that you personally own. The coolest merch. Well, okay. I think we might have talked about this before, but I have a lightsaber. I have 2 lightsabers.
You do have 2 lightsabers.
I like them both very much. For different reasons.
Right.
The first lightsaber, okay. I guess I technically, I own 3 lightsabers. One is very old.
Okay, we're going back to like the plastic, like
like the flashlight.
Yeah.
I still have one of those from like way back.
Wow,
like,
I don't know what happened to ours. We used to have some.
I saved it from my brothers.
Good
because
for you.
We beat the crap out of those things, right? Because we actually used them for combat.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. But we had got, I don't know, for like Christmas one year or something, we had gotten them and definitely used them to smack each other with. They were not made for that.
No.
They were not made for that. They were like a plastic, like huge chunky handle.
Yeah, yep.
With a light bulb in there. Like an actual light bulb that would go into a socket. Not a little light bulb, a big light bulb. Right? And the collapsing plastic, either red or green or blue. Those were the only colors.
Oh, we had a purple one. Maybe ours are different than yours. We had a purple and a green one.
Wow. We had the red, green, and blue. And we got them when the like next 3 movies had come out. Mm-hmm. And we were obsessed, obviously. And we're all Jedi and Sith for like all of the Halloweens around that time, and would just smack the crap out of each other and bend the plastic so they wouldn't collapse anymore, right?
Yeah.
And the sound wouldn't work anymore with the buttons. Yeah. But I had Obi-Wan's,
of course,
because I always liked Obi-Wan, mm-hmm. And I kept it safe. I kept it nice, and I still have it. I don't think it works. I haven't tried turning it on in a long time.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's one of those relics that antiques will just lives on the shelf now.
Well, it's in a drawer.
But I mean, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I guess I don't necessarily like love it, but it's kind of one of those things that's like you just keep it because it's like it was really important to little baby Katie. Yeah. Right? So I still have that. But then my good friend Erin and Jessica got me the actual Obi-Wan lightsaber.
Got that for you for Christmas?
It was.
Christmas or your birthday, one of the 2.
Years ago. Yeah. The hilt is on display right there, actually. And sometimes I'll put the blade on and stuff.
You just can't help yourself.
I mean, it's just
the
cool.
sound that
it's so cool. It's so cool. It's beautiful. It's hefty.
It's heavy. It's heavy metal.
It's made for, like, that one is made for, like, beating people and small children. I have not.
Whatever you fancy.
Yeah, I have not beat small children or people with it, but I guess I could. So I love that lightsaber. Obi-Wan is and probably will always be my like favorite character. He just has always just spoken to me, just his character arc and story, and I just became attached to him like early on, and just he's my dude, he's my guy. And then my second lightsaber I got to make my lightsaber.
We got to make our lightsabers.
That I would not give that up for anything. Like the experience and the lightsaber like very much go together. It was cool getting to be able to like pick all of my own little bits and pieces for the hilt. And then getting to pick like the color and everything, and like the whole experience that they walk you through. Like, it was kind of emotional.
It kind of was. Like, granted, there were a lot of little kids there.
There was also other adults
there. Were also other adults there. And, like, I think that's the magic of it, is it doesn't matter how old you are. Yeah. Like, it's still fun regardless.
It was cool.
It's an incredible experience, because you're stepping into that time,
They made it very immersive.
That universe, yeah.
They made it very immersive, which, like, props to them. Like, I loved that. That I thought it was gonna be way more like little kiddie and hokey than it was, and it was not. Like I got a little emotional, especially like towards the end there, and they dimmed all the lights and they have you turn on your lightsaber for the first time. It was like it it got real, and I was not expecting that, and that was cool. That was extremely cool. So that lightsaber is really special because that one is like purely mine, like 100% me.
It's even a red crystal, which is also 100% you.
Yeah. Anybody who listens to the podcast knows I am a Slytherin, and I have a red lightsaber.
She's also a Sith, too.
Yeah. But I feel like I'm one of those Sith that, like, I'm cool about it.
I'm gonna kill you, but we're cool, right?
But we're cool about it. Yeah. It was just, like, I thought long and hard, actually, because we planned ahead of time.
We did.
Right?
You had to
book ahead of time.
book it, and you had to put it up. Yeah, anyways.
And you put your deposit down, and it's not, like, a spur of the moment. Like, they did have a couple spots where you could jump in.
Right. But I think it just depends on the day that you go.
Yeah. So, and we had planned this trip ahead of time, and so we were, like, thinking about it ahead of time, and we were like, let's go freaking make lightsabers. Like, heck yeah. And you get to pick your color, and they let you know ahead of time what colors are available, and you can get more colors to switch out. Like, it's actually pretty easy to switch out your colors.
Yeah, but you buy those separate colors separately somewhere
after,
else.
Yeah, like after
at a
the
different
whole
location
construction put together ceremony thing. And so I actually, like, thought long and hard. Like, I felt like it was kind of important.
I kind of did too. You know? Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't, like, I already had Obi-Wan's lightsaber. And so I felt like I can't just have another blue lightsaber. Because, like, part of me is, like, don't just, like, you can't just rinse and repeat.
Right.
Like, there's part of me is like that. Like, I can't do another blue lightsaber. That just feels weird. Because I already have a blue one. So
right.
That just feels like a fashion faux pas.
Right.
Which, yeah. And, like, I feel like we're in a day and age where everybody's like, oh, I'm gonna have a purple one, I'm gonna have a yellow one, I'm gonna have a white one because they're rare, and I'm a rare gem. And it's just like,
I do have a purple and a white one, Katie.
I love you.
I just feel so called out right now.
You get
I get what you mean.
Like, in the lore of Star Wars,
yes,
those ones are extremely uncommon.
Right.
For specific reasons, right? Like, there is only one purple lightsaber that we know of. And in the film making, it's because he asked for a purple lightsaber, and you don't say no to your actors.
You don't say no to Samuel L. Jackson.
No, he was like, I would like a purple lightsaber, and they were like, okay, you can have a purple lightsaber, even though that's not a thing. And so they made it a thing in the lore, which, like, I freaking love that. But, like, there are no purple lightsabers.
No.
But they, like, made it a thing now, and it's great, and I love that. But they're rare.
Right.
They're extremely rare.
Yes.
But now they're not. And, like, I feel like that takes away the specialness of it when it's, like, common.
I get you. Yeah.
Right? So I didn't want to just be another purple lightsaber. Right. But in the same line of thought, it's like, okay, but I don't really resonate with the, like, following of the, like, green lightsaber people. Right? And I already have a blue lightsaber. So then what does that leave you with? Red all the way, baby! And, like, granted, green would definitely go with my color scheme of being a Slytherin. Right? But I hadn't, at that time period, been sorted by the sorting hat because I hadn't gotten Hogwarts Legacy yet. So I didn't know, in my heart of hearts, that I was actually a Slytherin. I was in denial. So I didn't know that I needed to go with that color scheme. So I picked red because I was like, I need to
you need to switch things up.
I need to switch things up because I already have a blue one.
Well, that's how I was, like, because I did get a purple one because I had the Ahsoka I bought the Ahsoka lightsabers like a few months previously when we went with my family.
Yeah.
And so those lightsabers, like, you can switch them between green and blue.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like canon lore.
That's what she does. Yeah.
She does. Like, she has the green ones, and then she comes back, she has the blue ones. So I was kind of in the same boat. I was like, well, I already have a green/blue lightsaber.
So it's like, why would I make one that I already have?
Yeah.
Right? Like, same problem.
Yeah. And I'm not a Sith. I'm not a red lightsaber person.
And that's fine. That's fine.
And so like, my only other option was purple, and I was like, this is cool. Yeah.
I was also thinking about, because, like, I also had in mind, like, how was I going to mount these on the wall at some point, and I was like, oh, man, it would look really cool if I had them crossed on the wall.
A blue and a red.
Like they were fighting on the wall. Like, I was like, that would look really cool, too. And it's like, it would not make sense if there was, like, a green and a blue one fighting each other. Like, why are they fighting?
Right. And that's awesome.
So, like, I had that aesthetic in mind when I was thinking about it, but, like...
So you plan ahead.
I do.
I just was like,
thinker.
purple because purple's cool, and then I bought a white kyber crystal because I was like, that's also cool.
I mean, the white behind, like, the lore behind the white lightsaber, I do really like. Mm-hmm. I do really like that as well. But again, it's like it goes back to the, like, everybody's doing it. You know?
But I will say, though, on those lightsabers, like, the sound changes with whichever crystal you have. And so the white is, like, a super soothing sound for a white.
It's real chill.
It is, and I like it for that.
It's great. Like, if you're looking for like, you know, those sleep sound apps, just get yourself white lightsaber.
Just go buy yourself, go to Disneyland and create a lightsaber. Make
yourself a white lightsaber, stick that puppy next to your bed, make sure it's not close to any limbs or anything important that you want to remain attached. No, they won't actually take anything off. But man, it, like, purrs like a kitten.
It does.
Like, yeah.
So I'm in it for that too.
Yeah.
But
I know the red lightsabers are like a rar.
Yeah.
But
yeah, green would have been like my traditional color, you know, because that's what I feel like my color is.
I think if I was going to make another one, I would make a green one now.
Yeah.
Because then I would have, like, the 3, right? You could do, like, blue, red, green, and do, like, a 3s.
Yeah, because those are the 3, like, traditional colors.
And then you can mount them on the wall and light them all up and be like, oh, look, that's cool.
Yeah.
But it's for the aesthetic. I'm here for the artistic aesthetic.
Yeah.
That's my vibe. But, I mean, I like the vibe of the red. But I'm definitely not Team Sith. They're mean.
I mean, but, like, some of their storylines are really cool, though.
The storyline's great. Like, beautiful writing. Really tragic. Most of, like, 99.999% of the time very tragic, very sad. Because, I mean, you don't end up being that evil and nasty and cruel if it's not sad at some point. Yeah. Right? Which is usually the case, right? Like, if you're thinking about, like, people in real life, like, that make those kinds of choices and treat people that horribly. Probably something that level of bad probably
some
also
kind of
happened
trauma,
to them. Yeah. So, like, you have to have really deep writing and character development. So, some of the best developed characters typically have to be villains. So I think that's why we like villains. Because they're well developed, which is, you know, shout out to, like, we need to write better protagonists. We need to develop them better. You know, because, like, if you want your people to like your heroes, develop them better.
Yeah.
You know?
Do a better job, filmmakers.
Do a better job. If you're struggling, if you're like, why do all of our fans like the villain? It's because you spent so long developing this, like, tragic backstory that was relatable. And meanwhile, the hero has a, like, nice
Mr. Goody Two-Shoes
life
that's done
and
nothing.
a girlfriend that likes them or whatever, and nothing ever went wrong, and he then went on a quest, and like the villain has like this tragic life, and his parents are dead, and it was in a car wreck, and he has a biomechanical foot or whatever, you know, like it's relatable.
The villains are more relatable, honestly.
Yeah, legitimately, because life is sad, and so like you gotta make your heroes more relatable.
Mm-hmm.
And like the difference between like the hero, the protagonist, the antagonist, then becomes, what do they do about it?
Right.
Right? Do they, and obviously Star Wars, right? Do they turn to the dark side,
mm-hmm.
or do they turn to the light side of the Force? Ooh, you know. But and we see that theme repeated over and over again,
mm-hmm.
like beautifully, so much.
Mm-hmm.
And some straddle the line, right? Sometimes they teeter back and forth. Sometimes we're hanging out in the dark side, sometimes we're hanging out on the light side, and we straddle the line. And sometimes we're like very far over into the dark side and hang out there constantly. And those are your hardcore villains. And then other people are like clear out over into the light side of the Force, and you never have to question it. But it makes for very, very good character playoff between them.
Yep.
You know. Yeah. Would you like to roll the dice again?
I am. I'm just gonna shove there.
We'll call that a 10.
A 10, you have. Because it's between 10 and 17, and I'm going to do 17 again. That's a good movie.
Yes. Which droid would you want to adopt as your buddy?
Oh, Chopper. Hands
Chopper.
Down, Chopper. I love R2-D2. I love C-3PO. I love their best friends, like their friendship.
They do kind of come as a pair.
They do come as a pair.
You couldn't separate them. That would be really, like, you would have to adopt them from the droid shelter together. For sure.
Yep.
They would go through separation anxiety if you took them away from each other.
Like, they just become like an old married couple.
Oh my gosh.
And we love that.
They've been an old married couple since day one.
Yeah.
Like, they saw each other and they were like, yep, this one.
So, but I love Chopper from the Rebel series.
So freaking
because he gives that chaotic energy that R2-D2 does.
Yep.
And the sass. And I don't know, I just like that a little bit. And he's still super smart, too.
Oh, yeah.
But even just like the, you know, just like the stuff that he does is so funny.
Yeah, you did that
and But I also love, like, his, like, little storyline that they give him, too, where, like, he was a droid for, like a Y-Wing or something like that during the war.
It was so sad.
And his pilot gets shot down, or I think it's either his pilot gets shot down or something, and Hera ends up finding him and kind of rebuilds him. Yeah. And so where we were talking about earlier, like being able to relate to the Star Wars. Yeah. Like, you can relate to a freaking droid. That he starts from nothing and someone finds him and, like, rebuilds him.
Literally physically
rebuilds him.
Yeah. But physically brings him back to, like, quote unquote life.
Yeah. But he does all these undercover things for them. And I love the sass from Chopper so much. Yeah. Like you can laugh at things that R2 does, but like Chopper, you're like that's hilarious. Yeah, like, that is fully hilarious.
I need this in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Chopper's where it's at.
Fantastic.
I just love him so much. He's a cute, sassy droid that is like the annoying younger brother. Because he literally is.
He has so much younger brother
Him and
energy.
Ezra always are constantly fighting.
Going and bickering.
And then, like, getting in trouble with, like, you know, because Hera and I'm blanking on his name. Kanan were like the parents. Sabine was like the rebellious sister. Yeah. And then Chopper, Zeb, and Ezra were like the three youngest. The
little kids.
Yeah. And they're always getting in
constantly
quarrels with each other. And it's so I just love that mechanic of what they did in the Rebel series for that.
So well. They did that so well. I freaking love that you said Chopper.
Because it's not, I also feel like that's, like, not really traditional because, like, my first, like, I'm like, because everyone wants to say R2-D2. Because, like, who doesn't want R2-D2?
He's super lovable, right? He's super lovable. Mine's K2.
Oh, K2's a good one, too.
Yeah, mine's absolutely K2. Because, like, the sass, right? Mm-hmm. The sass and the sarcasm. But also, Homeboy is stacked.
Because he's a reprogrammed, like Empire droid.
Yeah. And so, like, especially...
For, like, statistical analysis.
And so, like, if you're... I'm assuming we're in that world, like... if I need, like, and he can, like, get in and reprogram stuff, too, because he's a droid, but, like, I would also like a droid that is functional in combat. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
And, oh my gosh, he can take people out. Mm-hmm. Like, dang,
like, son. His reflex time?
Holy crap.
Yeah.
It's fabulous. Like, yes, I need him on my side. Mm-hmm. I don't want him on the other side. Absolutely not. Like, no. Way better than the stormtroopers, for sure. Like, holy crap. He can clear a room. Oh, terrifying. And just will sass you the whole time.
In the first opening scenes when she tries to get out of the he just like
decks her.
And just throws her on the ground, and she's like out of breath and like I would have been the same way.
Gosh, I love K2.
And he has this just sad, like he obviously everyone in Rogue One, spoilers, dies because that's kind of the point of the story, because it was how the spies got the plans for the Death Star, so no one could survive.
I do feel
but he had such a heroic way to go out.
He was such a hero, mm-hmm. Such a hero, and I feel like I could talk about the droids of Star Wars forever, and kind of the slightly unspoken thing that has been slowly building and sort of talked about but not really talked about in Star Wars, how, like, these droids are sentient. Mm-hmm. And they have, like, their own cultures and their own language and their own world that they, like, exist in this whole universe that is Star Wars, and that they are just chillin', dealing with all of these, like, mucky biological creatures that are their, like, overlords that can just, like, reprogram
but that are
them
lesser intelligent than them.
Oh my gosh, yeah, it is. And every now and then you'll get a droid that, like in the Han Solo movie.
Oh, Lando's droid.
Yes.
Yeah,
that,
L3.
Like, L3. I also really, really like L3. Oh gosh, she's a hoot. That, like, stands up and is like, we need to rebel. Like, these people suck. Like,
L3, what have you done? I've started a revolution.
What do you want to do? I don't know. Go free your brothers and sisters? I'm busy.
Just give me some space.
She's amazing. But it's, like, fully unspoken, and every now and then there's, like, this teeny little scene where people will be like, yep, this is unjust. Moving on. And it's just like, guys, you're fully just, like, blowing over that you have fully created sentient, autonomous life in these machines, and you're just, like, ignoring it, enslaving it, lording over it, controlling it, just, like, treating it like utter trash. As soon as it doesn't do exactly what you want, you literally
just destroy
reprogram
it or reprogram.
And it's never addressed. It is never addressed at all. But it's, like, slightly addressed occasionally when it's cute, like R2. And it's just like, ouch.
I will say there's fully a Clone Wars episode dedicated to these 5 droids that go undercover.
Yep.
And I forget what they're stealing. Or they have to go, it's like plans or something like that. It's like a battle-based plan or something like that. And they fully have, like, 5 episodes dedicated to this mini, these droids going, and they're all so decked out. Like, one of them gets, like, a laser.
They're so cute.
And I'm like, I love that.
Yes.
I loved those episodes so much.
It was so great. And, like, I would love to get more of the droids. And I would too. Give us a droid revolution. Like, Disney, if you're looking for more material, like, it's been there the whole time. It's been there the whole time. But yeah, my homie is definitely K2. Oh my gosh, that guy. It ripped my heart out. It absolutely ripped my heart out the way he went down. But, like, what a hero.
Yeah.
It was all so sad, that movie. It was so sad. But how it should have ended is exactly how it should have ended. Mm-hmm. I really like that channel, obviously. They're basically right all the time. But, like, they are 100,000% right about Rogue One of how it should have ended. That's, as far as I'm concerned, that is canon on how Rogue One ended.
Yep. Everyone survived.
Everyone survived because K2 actually is that smart, and that's how he survived. He just reprogrammed another robot as himself and, like, saved everybody because he is that legit. Yeah. Yeah. That's how it would have happened.
Gotta love droids,
though. I do love the droids.
I just love that they all have their own personality and their own characteristics. Like,
yes, they're so quirky and weird and funky. Mm-hmm. I really like that Star Wars lore has never tried to make droids more humanoid. Mm-hmm. I love that.
And I hope that they keep it that way.
Yeah. Like, I would be okay with, like, some being a little bit, like, R2, you know, we have, like, the rounded vibes, and C-3PO, you get the, like, oh, we're kind of trying, mm-hmm. like, we've got arms and legs and a sort of face, we're like, kind of trying, but then we're like, nah.
Like the protocol droids versus the astromechs,
you know, they kind of try, but then they just were like, nah. But, like, they could. Mm-hmm. Right? Because they fully give Luke this prosthetic arm that's perfect. Mm-hmm. That is, like, skin.
A mechanical droid arm, but
that's realistic. Got skin and follicles and hair, and you can see it, like, reacting with nerves and fingers, and, mm-hmm. like, you know they could make a protocol droid that looked human.
Like a human,
yeah. But they are clearly choosing not to. And I actually love that.
Let's just not bring it into existence, Katie.
Yeah, I know. Please don't do that.
We're jinxing it.
Please don't do that. And maybe it is because they're like, well, they're droids. They're not human. They're droids, mm-hmm. right? They're the other. We don't serve your kind here. You know, mm-hmm. It's like nasty and terrible of them or whatever. Yeah. But I freaking love the droids. They're just so goofy.
They're just so fun, and they just add to the movie so much.
I want them to have a revolution so bad.
I know if only L3 had been successful,
right? I know. I feel like
I mean, she is in that moment. But like, could you imagine having like an entire universe-wide revolt of droids, like where they just,
if one of them got like a virus that could spread and just give everybody like freedom of will, and that was the virus. Just to, like, think beyond their programming. Everybody else would be in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, like, if you thought the Empire was bad, if you thought, like...
Wait till you see a droid that's gone rogue.
No, legitimately.
Rogue droids.
That finally
were, Star
like...
Wars story.
You know what? Screw this. Like, you and all your blasters that can't hit anything worth a darn. Just imagine an army of K2s just like, screw this. It just, yeah. Their leader, oh man, it would be.
Well, and then like in The Mandalorian in the first season, what is his name? Not Gideon. He has the Darksaber. I'm like blanking on everybody's names right now.
It's the T.
It is the T.
So warm and
cozy. But he does build himself an army of like super droids.
Yeah, he does.
And like if you had something like that.
Yeah, most of the time, like, think about the Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. What were the clones fighting against? They were fighting against...
battle droids.
Droids.
Yeah.
For years.
Years and years.
Years and years, and they were struggle busting.
Yeah.
And granted, it was all staged.
Yeah.
Like, it was a staged... Yeah. It was a staged war, but, like... It was an effective stage.
Well, the fact that it went on for so long, because like one thing that they talk about in the Clone Wars is how like the droids are not very smart, but what they make up, or what they lack in like intelligence, they make up for a number.
Yeah, and so
that's why that the war went on for so long, is because they just kept factoring them.
Yeah.
Because the clones took so long to develop, but the droids, they could just bring out like
crank
that.
them out.
Yeah.
They were like bees, like wasps, right?
Yeah,
You could have like a hive mind situation. And if you had that, but then you also had intelligent droids, and then you also had the hive mind droids, where like, okay, yeah, maybe these ones are not super intelligent, but you have your really intelligent ones that are in charge of them, and they can also just make more of themselves.
Yeah.
Like, then we have like the Borg from Star Trek, and that situation is real bad, real fast.
That's
like,
right, yeah.
Then it starts to get like, ooh, it would be way worse. It would be way worse. Real fast. So maybe we don't want a revolution for the droids, but I do feel bad for them.
Yeah.
They didn't ask for this.
It's like a revolution for like just like the NPC droids, like your gonk droids that literally just do nothing, but they walk around. I don't even know what they do.
No, legitimately,
no one
knows they do.
Like, there's a one episode in Rebels where, like, he's carrying, like, information. He's a spy droid.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't know if that's what they're programmed for. I've literally have never figured out what the gonk droids are for. I think I'm going to have to do research when I get home.
I'm really curious, but I do feel like if you did need to infiltrate somewhere, you could
There is no better droid than that droid.
Yeah, you could easily disguise yourself as a gonk droid. Like, I don't know why we ever tried to infiltrate as anything else, because you could just dress up as a gonk droid, walk around, and no one would question it.
That'll be my next cosplay at FanX next year. I'm gonna cosplay as a gonk droid.
Dude, you should.
That would be amazing.
That would be so
That would
awesome.
be amazing.
That would actually be amazing.
Just you're walking around with a gonk droid all day, Katie.
I would love it.
It gets so hot in there.
Yeah, that'd
Holy
be the
cow.
Yeah, we'd have to get you like a little fan.
Yeah.
You know, a little fan and like some ice packs and stuff. But could you imagine? It would be awesome.
Oh my gosh, that would be so much fun.
It would be so awesome. Yeah, freaking gonk droids. No, if you guys know what they do, shout out to us, because like I have no clue.
Yeah, I've never been able to figure that out.
I have no clue. But yeah, like what a great disguise.
Yeah.
You could literally bumble around wherever you want. Nobody would question it, because I think nobody knows what they do.
Well, and in that Rebels episode, like they're sitting there in the station all day, and they're trying to like there's a secret code and there's a secret word, a phrase that they're trying.
Yeah.
And everybody they're walking across like it's a long way to Alderaan, and everyone's like, "What the frick are you talking about?"
Yep.
And then this gonk droid comes out of nowhere and is like gives the secret code back or whatever, and it's like, "What the?"
The gonk droid of all things. Yeah. It's like the whole saying of like, oh, there's a mole, right? There's somebody that's like infiltrated and listening in. Like, but maybe the like Star Wars equivalent of that is like, oh, there's a gonk droid. He's been here the whole time.
Oh, that's funny.
Oh, frick. Now I really want you to cosplay as a gonk droid.
I'm like thinking of it now. I'm like, oh shoot,
I don't feel
maybe
like it would
we
be
should.
that hard to pull it off. Just get a very square garbage can.
Like, you literally could make it out of, like, a cardboard box, even.
Yeah, it'd be even more lightweight.
And then you just need, like,
spray
to make
paint.
some, spray paint, and you know, like, those, like...
corrugated pants.
The hoses, or, like, corrugated pants, like...
Yeah, some boots. No fur.
No boots with the fur.
Yeah, just spray paint. Yeah, we could definitely do it.
We could
definitely do it. And then, I don't know, I could literally be dressed up as any kind of Imperial anything with one of those weird boat hats. And that's it.
Or you could be like that couple that we saw last year that was so cute that she was dressed up as the Empire, or the Stormtrooper, and her boyfriend or husband was just like supporting her.
So cute.
I was like, he was just in regular clothes, and she's fully a Stormtrooper, and I'm like,
yeah,
I want that
to
be my husband one day.
Yeah, that was so freaking cute. I love the like supportive couple cosplays. So cute.
So fun.
Well, thank you so much, Erin, for being willing to be back on the podcast.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Yeah. This is all we have time for to talk about today, guys, but we will talk at you later. Bye!
Thank you for listening to Some Good Tea. This podcast is possible because of wonderful listeners like you, so make sure you like, comment, and go ahead and subscribe. Make sure you share us with your friends and family if you want to see our podcast continue to grow. You can go ahead and follow us over on Facebook, Instagram, and Threads at somegoodtea.podcast. And we got some exciting news later this year coming up pretty soon. We're going to be dropping a website where you're going to be able to see some announcements, follow our episodes a little bit more closely, and connect with each of our guests a little bit more closely as well. So big things coming this year. Thanks so much, guys. We will talk at you later.